Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic.
What is a poor person hack you picked up during a hard time that you still use today, even if you don't have to? No dollar days. See how many days you can go without spending $1. Then try to beat your previous records. Also, $3 per day equals $1,000 per year. This is especially easy to do when you have nothing to spend. Learning to love my crock pot and eating the same meal for an entire week. An amazing money saver, and I still do it because it was an ingrained habit for years. Work on storage techniques, generally, freezing, and in portions, and reheating, and you can even rotate meals so you don't get stuck eating the same thing for an entire week. I do this. 2 dinners, maybe a lunch from the crock pot, freeze the rest. Then I do a little shop in my freezer and still get to eat based on mood. Or a surprise because I am a bad labeler. Parks and trails are free entertainment that make you healthier and less depressed the more you use them. I live up against a huge mountain in the city, and when I get bored I make myself climb it. LMAO. Wish I had some mountain over here, but I live in the Netherlands. Sad face. Add an egg for nutrition. Got rice and veggies. Those are sides. Fry it with an egg and that it is a good meal. Add a hard-boiled egg to instant ramen for a gourmet experience. A piece of toast with a fried egg is now an open-faced sandwich. Are you my ex? She used the rule, if you can put a fried egg on it, it's a meal. I still use that rule today. My wife and I used to sing, "If you want it to be breakfast, put an egg on it," to the tune of Beyoncé's Single Ladies, when we were doing this very thing in our younger, poorer days. Google the fix for something that is broken, and if you think you can do it, try. The amount of crooks in appliance repair is insane. There's a YouTube video for diagnosing and repairing just about every appliance in your home. I've replaced my freezer's ice maker, my dryer's motherboard, my washer's intake valve, to name a few. $5 Costco whole chicken 1x week, top ramen, rice, beans and eggs. This got me through months of low-income months. It was like $50.60 for a month of 2 meals per day. Boil the carcass down for broth for soup later. Baby, you got a soup going on. Sleeping is a cheap meal. My brother and I would always call it eat and sleep for dinner. We were never poor enough that it was a requirement, but we were close enough that it did help the budget. We'd drink a ton of water and hit the sack at like 8 sometimes just so we could get to breakfast. I all continually reminded that in spite of many very serious life problems, I need to be truly grateful for the fact that I've never really faced food insecurity. Truly grateful. My trick when I was in a really bad way was to drink a lot of water to feel full. It's a temporary solution, but I would tell myself something along the lines of, you can go 3 weeks without food, but you can only go 3 days without water. Not ideal, but worked for me. Sad face. I came here to say this, but you were already here. I drank a gallon of water a day as a grad student. This is depressingly true. Never go to the grocery store hungry. Always go after you eat. Best advice I heard on this was, make your list hungry, and go to the store full. This is a bit better. I've gone full and totally skipped over stuff I ended up needing, but it sounded awful in the moment. Soup, spaghetti, chicken and vegetable rice. Make enough for 3 days. Throw in some bones, baby, you got a stew going. Whoa, whoa, whoa. There's still plenty of meat on that bone. Yeah, I learned how to stretch food too. Nobody wants the ends of a loaf of bread. Chop it up and put it into meatballs. Cut ends of vegetables. Freeze a bag, make stock when full. Rotisserie chicken, shred for tacos, another meal, bones, skin goes into stock. Tinned beef fat goes real nice as a fat for bread. Extra bacon grease goes in your bacon grease container. Almost any meat makes a good leftover taco, pizza or fried rice protein. About once a month I just take the bits and pieces and make a soup. This is a key feature of most traditional food. Other than feast meals, like a turkey dinner, most traditional food has a lot of opportunity to work marginal or less palatable food into the meal. Stale bread, bread soup, leftovers from Sunday roast, shepherd's pie. Ugly vegetables, more soup. When the choice is eat what you have or starve, people figure it out. And our ancestors had a lot more practice not starving than we do, so you might as well steal their recipes. We frequently do a leftovers night on Friday. A little leftover meat, some flatbread, cheese, and whatever veg needs to be used makes a low-effort, basically free meal. The veg waste in a freezer bag for stock is so clutch. I wait till mine's full, then get a rotisserie chicken. After the meat is gone, boil the carcass with the veggie scraps and you've got a delicious, rich soup base. Being kind will get you further in life than anything else. I walked into my college police department to pay a parking ticket with 3/4 of the money in my bank account. Our campus police were brutal and absolutely unforgiving of the fact that we had way more cars than parking spots on our campus. I answered all of the desk officer's questions with, "Yes ma'am," or "No ma'am." After the 3rd or 4th question, she told me not to worry about the ticket. I got very confused and she said I was the only student that had spoken respectfully to her in days and that she appreciated it and told me to have a good day. I damn near ran out of there before I did something to make her change her mind. It didn't get me very far, but I didn't go hungry that week. The amount of help you get by being pleasant and understanding to public-facing workers and strangers in crazy. Making other people's life just chill for a minute works miracles. For those that need a bit more direction, being kind is not the same as being weak. You can still stand your ground while being kind. Kindness is not weakness. This carried me when I was poor. Best example was a first-class seat on a flight where I was a standby passenger. It doesn't seem like it at the moment. People will try to take advantage of kindness and mistake kindness for weakness. But being consistently kind, not assuming the worst intentions in others, definitely pays off in the long run. There are some exceptions, but for the most part, store brand is just as good or the same as name brand. In the case of Kirkland, it might be superior. Beans are a magical food. Even better if you make them yourself. Buy a 1-pound bag of dry beans for $1.25 and that is a good amount of protein and fiber. Walmart brand Pop-Tarts can fuck right off though. When I was in my dirt poor phase, one made this mistake once and towards the end of the month the only thing I had in the house was a box of chocolate Walmart Pop-Tarts. I'd go to bed hungry instead. They were that bad. I think prepared foods like the Pop-Tarts you mentioned are a weak spot as far as generics go. Generic ingredients are generally fine. You can pry my cold, dead fingers off my Aldi brand sugar, flour, beans, and fire-roasted canned tomatoes. Library. My kids ravage through books. We easily save thousands a year using the library, and learn about all the other services your library offers. Ours has tools, baking supplies and all sorts of random things also available to loan. I was able to sign up for online classes at my local community college for free through my library account. Wanted to use an expensive software for one personal project, was able to use it on a library computer specifically set up for that kind of project. It's really astounding how many things they have that most people have no idea about. Darning socks, repairing ripped jeans. Only in the night when there's nobody there. What does he care? Starter jar collection. I haven't used plastic baggies in years. Everything goes into the jars. I'm laughing at the thought of opening the fridge and seeing pizza inside of a jar. Each slice curled into its own jar, like a manta ray in a sleeping bag. I used to rent a house that had a huge ant problem. No more open packages for us. Everything that didn't seal tight went into mason jars. It improved the situation greatly. I'm too poor to buy cheap boots. The reason that the rich were so rich, Vimes reasoned, was because they managed to spend less money. Take boots, for example. A really good pair of leather boots cost $50, but an affordable pair of boots, which were sort of okay for a season or two and then leaked like hell when the cardboard gave out, cost about $10. But the thing was that good boots lasted for years and years. A man who could afford $50 had a pair of boots that'd still be keeping his feet dry in 10 years' time, while a poor man who could only afford cheap boots would have spent $100 on boots in the same time and would still have wet feet. This was the Captain Samuel Vimes, Boots, theory of socioeconomic unfairness. Bulk discounts and space to store it. Better nutrition and preventative medicine instead of emergency care. Waiting for sales. Tons of ways to be frugal when you have even a bit more money. Being poor is expensive. Sam Vimes. Can't help but think of this quote whenever Vimes comes up. The food was good solid stuff for a cold morning, all calories and fat and protein and maybe a vitamin crying softly because it was all alone. Help out your neighbors without asking for payment when they're in need and when you are able. I've been showered with free food, things, and acts of service from grateful neighbors. I got pregnant in grad school, aka the poorest I've ever been in my life. Anyhow, I was in a major US city and frequently perused Craigslist ads for free baby stuff. I responded to one for a few items and when I showed up, she had more. I was so grateful that I went home and wrote her a thank you note. She later emailed me about even more items, like a bassinet. I'm still so very grateful to her for her generosity. By the time our daughter was a toddler, we were in a much better place financially and we were able to pay it forward. I didn't sell any of the items I had received for free and gave away most of the ones I actually bought. My daughter is in middle school now and her outgrown items go through our local Buy Nothing group. We all do better when we help each other out. Save and plant your seeds. Compost and turn your compost regularly. Grow whatever you can and can whatever you can't eat soon. Yes, if you have that opportunity. Many of us have no soil, though. My mom was able to grow a nice garden on our balcony with various sized pots. We grew vegetables and flowers. One year, a mourning dove made a nest in our flower pot. We couldn't use the balcony during that time, but the eggs hatched, and the birds eventually flew away. Learn and be willing to break down your meat and produce yourself. 99c head of lettuce vs 2.49 for 10 ounces of pre-chopped and washed lettuce. 99c per pound for whole chicken versus 3.99 pound for breast. I don't know where you're getting chicken that cheap, but the point remains chicken breast is the most expensive and also the most boring cut of chicken. My go-to for chicken is the bone-in skin on thighs at Aldi, as they have the lowest price and taste pretty good. Also, after you break down the whole chicken, use the carcass for stock. When you cut your veggies, store all the end cuts in a Ziploc and keep them frozen. Then use those for your chicken stock. Still do it to this day.